When we're starting with what, and you want to make sure that you're marketing a product or a service or yourself, you have to make sure that that thing is solving a specific problem for people. If the thing that you're marketing isn't solving a problem for people, then it's not marketable. So you have to go back to the drawing board and you have to figure out something else that's actually going to solve problems for people. So if you're looking for problems to solve, then somewhere you can look is Facebook Marketplace. You can look in community groups as well. You can go online and you can just simply Google search what problems are people facing in society the most today. And there's likely going to be something there that can develop into a very good product or service. For some people, this comes naturally and you're very lucky to be able to have a product or a service that is beneficial to society. It solves problems for people. Me, myself, I have a marketing agency and my job is to get to know business owners mainly and create organic content for them and share it online so that they can grow their business. Now that solves a very obvious problem. Other examples are maybe a construction company. They renovate houses. That's a very obvious problem. Now it's my job to make sure that a company that I work with gets the most jobs. They get more jobs to help solve a specific problem. A gym solves the problem of people wanting to be fit and in shape. A grocery store solves a problem because people need to eat. So when you're sorting out your what, it needs to solve a very specific problem for very specific people. Now after what, you need to understand why. Why are you marketing this thing? And generally, it needs to be something that resonates with you. If you have a business and you're trying to market what that business is, but you don't actually care about the business, you're just trying to make a bunch of money real quick, it's not going to work. It's not marketable. Because again, going back to the start, the most important part of marketing is selling and telling a story. And in order to sell things, people have to emotionally resonate with the story that you're telling about your product or your service, or they're not going to buy anything, because people buy with emotion and then they justify it to themselves later. After you've dialed in your why you're marketing this product or service that you're trying to sell to people, you have to dial in who. Who are you selling this to? And this ties into the what. It's a specific group of people who it solves a specific problem for. So I'll turn the lens again on myself. I am marketing specifically my marketing company to business owners. So anything that I write, any content that I create or share, it's put online because I mainly use digital marketing at this point in time. And anything I put online is hopefully attracting business owners. Business owners can look at it and think, hey, that is something that I could use, based on the copy that maybe we put in the description of a video we've thrown up that might be similar to another type of business who could use the same type of content. And maybe they're going to reach out, maybe they won't. Maybe I'll reach out to them and then they can look at my content online and they will feel confident in continuing a conversation with me to do some work with me. Now, when we're working with a physiotherapist, it wouldn't make sense to have their marketing messaging be attracting people who don't need physio. Or, maybe if you're marketing for a guitar shop, you don't want to be marketing to people who don't like music or they're into EDM or something. You have to really know who you're talking to, because the messaging that you put in the marketing is going to dictate whether or not the people that are seeing it resonate or not. Now, moving on to the next part of these who, what, where, why, when, how steps, we're going to get into where. Where are you doing this marketing? So there's plenty of different veins of marketing strategies that you can delve into. I specialize in digital marketing, but there are other methods that you can use as well. So you can do physical marketing. You can have printouts made that go around to people's houses. You can make another kind of printout that maybe you're either literal door knocking or your corporate door knocking, commercial door knocking, where you're going into businesses, you have some literature, you can give it to them and leave it with them. There's also something like vehicle wraps. That's a type of physical marketing. You can maybe join a Christmas parade and put one of your company vehicles in the Christmas parade. And as the parade is happening, you can have, people in the company vehicle wearing Santa hats, doing the whole thing. You could have 4 or 5 of your employees walking around handing out candy canes, handing out cards as well, and just, getting involved in your community and having their eyes on you. You can also do charity events like a golf tournament or some kind of other fundraiser, maybe like a Movember campaign or something. That's also good marketing. And in the digital space, you can take advantage of all of the tools that we have at our disposal today, which are pretty endless. We have obviously Instagram, Facebook, YouTube is a big one, Google, so putting images up on Google and geotagging them, taking advantage of organic SEO strategies. You can write blogs and put those online, and you can turn those into newsletters and send newsletters to your existing clientele. It is very endless. You have to make out a list and sort of prioritize which type of marketing strategies you want to use. So where are you going to be sharing your messages with the general public, using specific messages that are going to attract specific people to ideally make more money for yourself? And again, this is the way I'm speaking is all sort of towards business owners or employees or people who work for businesses. This same kind of rule applies for yourself, so if you want to have a headspace of marketing yourself as a person, say you want to date women, you want to go find a girlfriend or something, like you're not going to find a girlfriend at a gay bar or at a, something where there's like a bunch of dudes hanging out. That is not your target audience, right? So it also works the same way. If you want to, make some friends who are into golf, you'll likely make those friends at the golf course playing golf. So really be cognizant of where the people are that you want to be involved with, and that'll make the process of marketing yourself easy if you're not into businessy stuff. Now moving on to the second last section of this who, what, where, why, when, how thing. Let's look at when. So when are you going to be doing this, and in what variety of exchanges online or in the physical realm are you going to be participating in this marketing strategy? So when can be considered, periodically, how often would you like to post on social media? If you can make a rule for yourself where you say, I'm going to post Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m., then that's really easy to stick to. And, if you're doing it on Instagram, you can just hop in the app right now and you can schedule posts out ahead of time. You could schedule up to a month, 2 months, however long you want ahead of time, so you don't have to do it every day. You can, hop on for one day, spend 2 hours or so, put a bunch of content out, and it will make your life a lot easier. So that's one thought when it comes to when. The other thing to consider in thinking about when you're going to participate in these marketing strategies is when are you going to create the marketing assets required to market yourself. So if you're making some videos, maybe you're just using your phone, you want to film some selfie videos, when are you going to do that? You have to have a good understanding of your schedule and when you feel the best, when you feel the worst, when you're going to be off or on, just in terms of how you carry yourself, because you're filming yourself, your authentic personality has to come across. You have to decide when that is. Also, maybe there's multiple people that are going to be involved in creating these marketing assets, so you have to schedule that out and you have to decide the best way of moving forward with that. Now moving on to the last bit, how. How are you going to find success in using these marketing strategies? So when you're, stop, there's a cat down there. Anyways, when you are sorting through how to make sure this marketing strategy or these multitude of strategies you're using are going to be successful, there are 4 things that you need to keep in mind. And I'm just going to read them out here because I'm having a hard time memorizing these apparently. So the first thing is value creation and differentiation. The second thing is build trust and relationships. The third thing is test, measure, and improve. And the fourth thing is focus on emotion. So for the first one, value creation and differentiation. People buy things from people when there's sort of this active reciprocity that's been opened. So this stuff that you make, that you're giving to people that are sort of, spreading information about what you do that turns into money, that stuff needs to be valuable. It needs to be free value. So, pretend you pulled some kind of, publicity stunt where you got 3,000 followers on Instagram and you wanted to do something like a 3K giveaway and you were a arborist. If you were to, run that contest and you make the rules say, hey guys, we're having a contest, maybe you put a picture up of something and you make the rules, you have to like this post, you have to comment on it, and you have to tag 3 people in that comment, and you have to follow us if you aren't already, and then you're going to be entered in the draw, and then bonus points if you post it in your story and tag us in it. And then you make the prize, the winner gets a free at-home consult for arborist services. That's not a prize, that's not valuable, because that should already happen anyways. You should already be giving people free consults if you're an arborist. So, a better prize for a contest like that would be, something like, I don't know, anything that has to do with yard work, maybe like a battery powered leaf blower or something, like something that people really want, that they're excited about, so they enter in that contest and, your followers grow, word about you spreads a little bit because you're adding that value. Now, the second thing that you have to focus on when you're thinking about how to make your marketing strategy successful is building trust and relationships. Everything in business is relationships. If you don't have good relationships with the people you're doing business with, or the people you have done business with, or the people you want to do business with, then you're not going to be in business for a long time. So part of building trust and relationships is, again, delving into the value thing. Just be a giving and good human being. We are human beings and we resonate with each other emotionally and intellectually in our conversations and exchanges and the things that we give to people. So in building relationships with people, give gifts for Christmas, say happy birthday, go out of your way to call clients or customers or anything, just to have conversations with them. Or if you got a storefront and people come in, sit down, have conversations with the people who are giving you money and putting food on your table, and really treat them with respect and love, and be thankful and grateful for the fact that they're there in your life and they're giving you their hard-earned money. Now, the third thing that you want to be cognizant of here is test, measure, and improve. So good marketing is not, just a one-size-fits-all, set it and forget it situation. You have to perform tests. You have to be a scientist. When you're going into any kind of strategy, whether it's physical or digital, you need to have in your mind that this might not do anything, and that's okay, because it's part of the process, right? So basically, you're going to come up with a hypothesis, and you're going to think, if I create, and let's just talk digital here, if I create this kind of content, how will my current audience and possibly new audience members resonate with this content? And you're going to create the content, and then you're going to do that same kind of content for maybe a month or so, and then you're going to look at the data. When you open up to the Instagram app and you can look at your analytics, you're going to see how people interacted with it, and you're going to see if there's any comments on it, and you see how many new followers you got. You can see if that type of content worked. And if it didn't work, then just stop doing it and try something else. Just pivot just a little bit. There's always going to be stuff that resonates with people more than not. So if you're a construction company or you know, something that has to do with the home or like designy stuff, let's, you know, just based on society, and we'll say maybe it's a heterosexual relationship, it's safe to assume that the wife is likely going to want all of the stuff that's going to be improved upon in the house. She's going to want the new kitchen and the specific design aesthetic that she's seeing on Pinterest. So if you're creating marketing content that is attractive to dudes, and it's like, you know, bros who are looking at like cool tool stuff and like, you know, just gritty, crude sense of humor stuff on your page, then that's not going to be attracting your ideal audience. Yeah, maybe you're going to get a lot of engagement. People are going to like what you're putting out because they're resonating with it, but it might not lead to sales. So that's a whole other part of this thing. A whole other part of marketing is like, just because you're getting interactions and feedback from things that you're doing, it doesn't mean that it's actually going to turn into something. So, you know, you just have to be cognizant of that. And maybe if you, again, are doing a construction company thing or some kind of designy thing, your messaging needs to be attractive to women. So maybe, you know, you could have, maybe you've got an employee at the construction company, or you are the owner or something, and you know, like an interior designer or a real estate agent, or like someone who has a bit of a different perspective that might be attractive to a woman follower, or someone who's going to be looking at this type of content. That would be a really good move for you, just to name one example. Now, the last thing to be cognizant of in terms of, you know, how you're going to ensure that this is successful, you need to inject emotion into the stuff that you're doing. It needs to be emotional. It can't be like, these are the specs of this hot tub. You know, nobody cares about that shit. People care about the vacation on the beach. They don't care about the plane ride there. Like, as far as the plane ride there goes, they're going to pick the cheapest one probably if it's, you know, a middle class type family, and, you know, it's going to get them there. But what they really want is that vacation on the beach. So if you're selling a product or a service to somebody and you're giving them all of the specs and all of the, you know, how it's built, or, you know, what our process is, or any of that shit, like that doesn't matter. What matters is why they should care. What kind of difference is it going to make in somebody's life? Is it going to get them off that desert island? You know, say you're stuck on a desert island somewhere, and like, here's the boat. I've got the boat. All you got to do is get in, and, you know, I'll get you back to shore. That's how you have to paint it. And you have to paint it with your messaging. I'm talking, you have to paint your messaging in a way that has emotion, and you have to use storytelling. And with all that in mind, who, what, where, why, when, and how, that is the simplest breakdown of marketing that I can think of, and I hope that it helps you out. Please check back here anytime you feel like you want to have any information on marketing, sales, business, strategies, philosophy, mindset. I really want to help you learn how to market yourself or your business or your employer's business better, so that you can move ahead in life, you can make a whole bunch of money, you can have a whole bunch of happiness, a whole bunch of creative freedom, and live a good life. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and bye-bye.